Welcome to Living with Grace. And here, I think it's been, a day? A day or two, but I have so much to say. So hopefully you have some time. I got some time right now. You might have seen some other videos with the same outfit. That's all right. That's okay. Words are important. I got my little fan because I've been sweating, oh my gosh, for the past couple of days. It could be from the caffeine because I have the Nespresso, and my God, so I'm drinking water. Grab your drink, grab a snack. We're going to deep dive today. I'm going to get a little bit vulnerable, which is fine, because I think once you're transparent and you're free from something, you can definitely set somebody else free from the same thing that you might have been through. Might not be the same, but it could be similar. But as long as you see God's grace in it, that's enough, right? So we're going to be talking about being honest to yourself, being authentic with yourself, being transparent, speaking about the things that you put in the back burner, things that you don't want to talk about, things that you're ashamed of, being transparent to God because He knows, meaning if you're upset with Him, if you're not pleased with Him, just being transparent. I know that when we go through things in life, we question God. We even question ourselves. We question our surroundings. We question and we don't get answers. And because we didn't get any answers, it leads to certain decisions that we make that we need to hold ourselves responsible for. I'm not talking about at an innocent age where you're young and you don't know any better. I'm talking about in a mature fashion, at an age where you knew 100% why you made that choice, whether it was based off of emotions or it felt good at the time. We know why we do what we do. Now, if we go back into the past and really search ourselves to find out why we think the way we think, whether it was taught to us, told to us, done to us, there's a reason why, right? And so in order for us to live with ourselves, we definitely need to face ourselves and talk about the things that we definitely don't want to talk about. Sometimes we have already done it with best friends and stuff like that, but the response didn't even help us, right? Because I guess we're looking for help in all the wrong places. But when we're vulnerable and we're really speaking to the pain and the hurt, whether it be a bad relationship or a loss of a loved one, or seeing something that seemed right at the time, but you know now that it was wrong. We are molded, our character is molded based off of what we have learned and things that we've seen and things that we've been taught and things that we have decided to do, even knowing all of that. So being vulnerable, I know it's a lot, right? But I'm breaking it down so that you can actually face yourself, because there are things that we have done that we put in the back burner that we don't even want to talk about anymore. It seems justifiable because it's already been done and we knew why. And it's legit why we made that decision because of. Do you know what I'm saying? So let's go back. And I'm going to narrow it down for myself. I'm just going to speak about relationships because that was the major difficulty that I experienced growing up. And if I keep on blinking, it's because I have my fan on and it's drying out my eyes, which my eyes have been watering for the past couple of days. I'm not sure if it's the powder, but and the lighting. So if you see me doing that and looking this way, I'm looking out the window where I can see this tree just blossoming. So I'm not distracted. I'm here. Hopefully you're here too. Being vulnerable takes a lot because then you have to face yourself, or at least acknowledge certain areas of your life that you don't want to face anymore. When we look back on our childhood, we cannot take it back. It is what it is. But we can also look back and see if certain things that were taught to us was correct or not. You know what I'm saying? The very thing that you may be struggling in continuously may be a stronghold, may be a family curse, may be many different things, but we justify by saying, yeah, it is what it is, and we just let it go. I think that once we acknowledge certain things, it can change our life as well. giving everything that we have what we've gone through to God, even when we don't have an answer and we're not happy with it. So being transparent and vulnerable with God, we can definitely do that with people because they're sitting there listening to us, and they might even have a rebuttal or a response, and it's like, challenging because you believe this, and they're like, no, not that, or they just sit and listen to you, but there's not even a resolve, there's not even an answer, and so we just continue on with our lives. But when we're vulnerable with God and we're talking to him, sincerely talking to him, genuinely talking to him with all the emotions that we could remember when it actually took place, and giving it to him, you just might get an answer. You just might get a response. For me, when I did it, I got an answer, and it was a loving answer. It was a peaceful, calming answer. And I was just like, wow, because the way that I was thinking, because of what was taught to me or what was taken from me, justified my actions and justified the decisions that I made. And no one could tell me otherwise, but it was part of my journey. But then when I brought it to God, our Father, he answered me. He let me know. I allowed him to change my ways. I allowed him to renew my mind. I allowed him to give me his peace, opposed to me struggling with the answers, unknown answers, and the whys, and the fussing and fighting of life. I prefer the peace that he has given me. He understood why I did what I did. He understood the decisions that I made. He understood the whys and the hows and the outcomes and the frustration and the anger and the blaming. He understood all of that because it was in a human living experience and a decision based off of what I was taught and what I knew, because I know now. So it's easier to be vulnerable with loved ones or those that may know us. It may be a little bit more difficult to be vulnerable with God. Maybe fearful of his response. But he is a loving Father, and he saw everything that happened. And even when we do blame him, most of the time it wasn't even him. But if you communicate with him, he'll explain to you why. He will give you the answer. It may not come when you expect it, but when you're open and you're vulnerable and you're 100% genuine, waiting for his reply and his why and how, it will give you peace. It will give you peace. And then once you have that peace, your decisions and your choices will be different. Trust me, it will be so much more different. He wants us to live a beautiful life, and he does understand the rigmaroles and the ups and downs. He does understand. He also understands that if we don't commune with him or have a relationship with him, we will not understand if it's him or not, right? What I've learned is that God is not the author of confusion. He wants us to have his peace. He wants us to live in his peace and his grace and his love. There are some things that we need to give. Actually, all things we need to give to him. But are we willing to give it to him? Are we willing to talk to him about it? Are we willing to actually cast our cares upon him? Are we willing to live the life that he has for us, opposed to creating our own life because we have a better understanding of the outcome? I believe right now for my life, his outcome is better than my own. And it's easier for me to make decisions whether other people are hurt or not. It's easier for me to make that decision because in his decisions, there's peace. Even if I don't know the end, even if I don't know the finale, each and every day he gives us peace. Each and every day he gives us grace. His grace is sufficient. He knows why. Do you know what I'm saying? So in fear, we tend to create our own life, our direction, our path, and we make choices that go towards our ending and our path, our destiny that we have created for ourselves. But God's plan for our life is better than what we've planned for ourselves. So his desires that he's put inside of us, he wants to awaken it. But we need to have that conversation with him. We need to allow him to show us what he has for us. Because the pathway he has for us is for us to survive on this earth. He does not want us to go through some of the stuff that we went through. But again, he turns it around for good. Once you give it to him, once, you'll get a better understanding of what's from him and what's from the enemy. And even the things that we have done, oh, trust me, it feels so good in the moment. It makes so much sense. But it's like, what sense? Where did the sense come from? Is it God's riches or is it the worldly riches? Is it what we were taught or is it what God has for us and what he wants to teach us? And even knowing God for many years, there's so much more that we don't know about him. So allowing him to cover us and to guide us and to lead us and to cover us and to love on us and to receive his promises for us, we do need to commune with him and to be vulnerable with him wholeheartedly. It does take a lot, but trust me, it is freeing. So my advice to you is just to allow him in. Talk to him about every and anything. Invite him in every and all areas of your life and receive what he has for you. It may be scary because you're going to lose control, but remember, it's better that he's in control opposed to us being in control. And living day by day, new mercies we see, trusting him, not knowing what tomorrow holds. Having the peace each and every day is enough. It's enough. We all have a purpose and we all need each other. Allow God to heal us, even if we need to go through therapy, even if we need to talk to people about it, that God will use them to help us through to become better at learning and understanding what we went through. Going forward, God's going to use it for good. So being vulnerable with yourself and God is key. Then it allows you to be vulnerable and free with everyone else. Oh, boundaries. Yes, boundaries. But then you have peace and you have direction because he's going to let you know what he has for you. That's my advice to you. Hopefully you enjoyed this podcast, this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for your time.